Hey,
we did it.
We did that. Yep. No countdown. We're just getting into it. I'm Franz. This is Andy. It's Andy. It is September.
We're not used to it. Without that, we're still going to comment on the intro, even though it wasn't even
15 seconds.
Man, old habits.
It is September 2022. This is your Concrete CMS Town Hall. We are checking in on everything that is going on concrete related in the community and here at Portland Labs, and it's getting busy. It was a little slow over the summer there. People enjoying time. We had PRB take a month off for reviewing stuff last month, but man, we have a full agenda today. So let me, without further ado, get into it with you. Rhyming all the time. Nice. Let's see. In the news, we passed our SOC 2 audit. Surprise, surprise. Yay for us. But if you would like very compliant and secure hosting, you really should be talking to us. ISO 27001, SOC 2, possibly even HIPAA, if that's what you're into. We got it all. And if you've got some special acronym, we'd be happy to explore that as well. But yeah, good job, Lisa. Never surprising, but always happy when we get through that annual review. Another thing that I wanted to talk about, and I think I should be able to just switch like that. Boom. I talked about this, I think, last month, maybe before, I don't know, at some point. But we are eager for you to move to version 9. We are continuing to do security releases for version 8 past the end of this year. I know there was an earlier announcement at the end of the year, look, it's really time to upgrade. And that is true, by and large, due to forces beyond our control. Without burning too much time, PHP is on an aggressive release schedule, and we use a lot of third-party packages, and keeping all of those plates spinning is a real challenge. So there is this post you can go find on the .org side around what you should do if you've got a concrete version 8 site that you're just unable to upgrade to version 9. Maybe it's you're using some extensions that don't magically work on version 9 without some tweaking. Maybe you're just busy and constantly updating your website isn't how you choose to spend the end of your year. I don't know why that would be the case. But if that is the case, what you should be doing is exploring the long-term support Unix packages out there. So I know Ubuntu has one. I believe there probably are other options as well. But we are not the only group of engineers that says, whoa, this is really hard to keep this stuff constantly at the very latest and greatest version. So there are smart people actively working at porting security fixes for older versions of PHP back into supported builds so you can still run a safe website for at least a little bit. So I want to make sure that was out. I think that's all the screen sharing I have for the minute. 9.12, we've had a couple of release candidates, and I know you've been churning away on that. Andy, how's that looking?
Yes, it's looking good. We are on track to do that release this week. So latter half of this week sometime, likely Thursday, since that seems to be when we do most of those. There are some updates since the last since the last release candidate. We don't always want to do that, but sometimes we get some late submissions that are just too good to kick down the road. So nothing major, but yeah, so 9.12 coming soon and highly recommended.
And then 9.2. Later
yes,
in the fall?
That is coming later in the fall, perhaps early 2023. I guess we'll just kind of see how things go. But it is full steam ahead on that. Lots of new stuff in there that's looking pretty exciting. And I'm sure as fall goes the way fall goes, it will we will get close to that sooner than we think, close to the end of the year. So yeah, very excited about that. Got some new stuff coming in there.
Yeah, I'll share some more details on that without spilling too many secrets. There has been a API, what you call it? It's a package
proposal.
That is a proposal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It is also a package.
Functioning proposal that you can play with. It's been out for a while. Some people have played with it. We've already incorporated some of that feedback. You absolutely should, because that is going to be working its way into the core. In fact, we are going to be leveraging a lot of that for our marketplace rebuild that is starting to fire up now. So treating the marketplace more as a headless CMS. I'm going to be relying on some of that API stuff to do that. So probably talk more about that in the next town hall and in between now and there. But some very cool plans around that emerging. And so, as Andy is hinting, it's going to be a little bit of a card shuffle as we are relying on it for new stuff that we're building. And that's just kind of how the magic always has happened here.
Yep.
So it
Same
goes.
as it ever was. Exciting.
Same as it ever was. Let's see. Next thing I wanted to talk about. Change layout. Boom. There's this applications page on Concrete underneath About. And we just added a couple of cool landing pages. Internal communications, which is often a function of HR, but sometimes a separate department. We have found folks building sites with Concrete for inside the organization. Intranets, portals, you can call them different things like that. But Concrete does a really great job at that stuff, since we have really nuanced and detailed permissions and workflow and that kind of thing built right in. We can actually hit the ground running, where a lot of other systems you kind of have to add that stuff after the fact or live without it. Things like personalizing content or doing timed releases, very simple to do. And so we have started doing some deliberate marketing towards organizations looking to build these applications. You'll see more of this stuff in the case studies like this. We talked about that cool Home Depot case study, our BASF one. Folks who are building destination application places for a company or a company's sales partners, those kind of hybrid intranet, extranets. A sweet spot for Concrete. Certainly not the only thing you can use Concrete for, but a great thing to use Concrete for. So check out these pages. Feel free to point people to that in your own marketing efforts. Just one of many things going on here.
Nice.
All right. It is time for us to thank members of the community for doing special work. And there's lots of different ways you can help. And we like to go through every month and just call out a few names that have risen to the top. Certainly not all-inclusive, but a couple of heroes. Andy, can you take us through the
let
thanks?
me pull that up for sure. So we've had a lot of great submissions in the last month. Top of that list is definitely mlocati. He is really submitting some really helpful things, some of those late breaking things for 912 that I mentioned. So thanks to mlocati. Also, thank you so much to TMDesigns, gregheafield, hissy, haeflimi, shahroq, katalysis, and First Thomas. And then thank you to all those who are submitting issues for Concrete, versions old and new, including Katzueno, TMDesigns, Joko Mail 78, gregheafield, haeflimi, mehl, hissy, tschuffi, penbox-ad, mandakos, danklassen, ccmEnlil, mlocati, aohlrogge, KurtKeunen, First Thomas, simonchilton, pvernaglia, and RobRone.
Fantastic.
Thank you to all of you for keeping Concrete going, and great work this month.
Yeah, thanks. And as always, good work on the handles, Andy. Let's see, we're now going to do the Golden Baton. So in addition to all of those individual shout outs, we have a special badge, notoriety, and actually $250 in marketplace credit that once a month gets awarded to someone from the community that is going above and beyond to really help people over time. And we like that baton, much like the name, to be handed on from one person to the next. So it really is the community saying, look, this person has gone above and beyond. This last month, the Golden Baton was awarded to Enlil. Let me see if I can share my screen. There we go. This is the perfect way to do this. Won the baton last month and was unable to shoot me a video handing it to the next person. However, did send me a somewhat extensive and colorful narrative. So I am now going to read a message from Enlil handing the Golden Baton on to another community member. And I'm going to do so with Enlil's profile page up here because I think it adds to the flair. So, speaking as Enlil. Greetings, fellow Earthlings. First and foremost, I'd like to formally introduce myself to the community. My Earth-given name is Justin Peterson, best known locally simply as JP. I hail from the Madison, Wisconsin area, and I am very much proud to put us on the concrete CMS map. I say us, but I am a lone ranger in the area as far as I know. If you are a concrete CMS developer in the Madison, Wisconsin area, I'd love to get together and chat. Next, I'd like to thank the concrete CMS community as a whole. When I joined in 2011, not only did I come to build a website, I came to learn how it's really done. Shopping around for a CMS I liked, I was coming up empty-handed, and then I stumbled on concrete CMS. Everything about it was breathtaking compared to the other options. I was hooked, and there was no turning back. Although, had the community not been there to solidify my decision, I may likely have not been here at all. To those here before me in the forums that responded willing to help when I was asking some of the dumbest questions on the planet, to any member who's ever answered anyone's forum post, whether their answer was marked correct or not, you, my friends, are all concrete heroes. To John the Fish personally, for putting up with all of my legacy magic data related inquiries and beyond, which led to multiple package add-on theme integrations. When I first began speaking with you, John, I had no idea the impact you are already making in the community. The fact that you even had time to embrace my efforts as much as you have, let alone everyone else's, is beyond me. You, sir, continue to make an impact and are, without a doubt, king of the community. Today, over a decade later, you can find me giving back to the community in many ways, just as everyone so kindly gave to me. In the forums, chiming in with answers and suggestions when I feel they may be helpful. On GitHub, submitting issues, pull requests, and providing feedback whenever I'm able. As a member of the Concrete CMS Marketplace Peer Review Board, where a tight handful of members and admins volunteer their time to review all Marketplace submissions before they become available. By the way, we're always looking for new submissions too. If you have an ad on our theme and package form, follow the submission guidelines and upload it. I'd love to review it and get it into the Marketplace for all of Earth to see, whether it is something simple and free or an intricate application that will cost end users a fee. Right. It is an honor to be a small part of something this massive to begin with, let alone being recognized with the Golden Baton for simply doing what I enjoy doing. I intend to be here inevitably and look forward to seeing the core and community grow into something more extraordinary than it already is. It is now my time to pass the Golden Baton to a member who I've put much thought into selecting. Keeping in line with Franz last month, looking to the community forums for someone else who is making an impact, my decision has been made. I've chosen a member who I believe has gone above and beyond to help others for no reason other than to better the community. This member has answered forum posts for other communities on numerous occasions. We even bumped into each other in the forums a couple of days ago trying to help the same user. This member offered their time to help the core team out with some simple design tasks that directly benefited the community. The list goes on and on. Without further delay, congratulations TMDesigns, Tim McNally. You are the September 2022 recipient of the Golden CMS Golden Baton Award. Concrete CMS Golden Baton Award, pardon me. In addition, I've granted you a few licenses for my enlil pageless add-on for your development and production use. I hope you and a couple of your clients will find it useful. Together we have built something great. Together we will make it amazing. Enlil. Oh, that was sweet. All right.
That's
well,
awesome.
There you go. Congratulations, Tim. Well deserved. That was fun. Thank you for the,
that sounded
short
fun.
Speech. That's good times. Okay. Whew. Let's see if there's any comments. We should be certainly, if you have a question, you should be asking it because we are forging through our agenda here, and Q&A will happen at the end. All right, next up, it is time for us to check in with the PRB and see what has been approved. In order to do that, I'm going to try to do this in a new way so we don't have lag issues. Chrome tab. Where to go? Here we go. Boom. All right. Let's cross our fingers and hope this works properly.
Hello again. We have a theme and a few add-ons to show you this month. To begin with, our theme this month is Subatomic by ZanWeb. Subatomic is notable as being the first theme in the marketplace developed specifically for version 9 as opposed to an updated version 8 theme. The marketplace price is $35. If we go to the demo site, you can see that Subatomic is a derivative theme that is compatible with the core Atomic content, as well as providing a new design with a selection of skins. Subatomic bundles some additional block types and can integrate with more of ZanWeb's marketplace blocks if you have them. Here you can see the hero image replaced with ZanWeb's background video block. Let's move on to add-ons now. Our first add-on is from Macro, or Concrete 5 Japan as they used to be known, and is a PHP debug bar. This appends a debug bar to the end of every page to show tabs of diagnostic and debug information. Think of it as a bit like a browser developer console, but showing Concrete CMS service side information. You can click on the bar and it expands to show debug information, or contracts so you can see the page. And here you can see it expanded, showing a timeline tab with details of blocks rendered and the time they took. If we go through the screenshots here, the next tab is request data with details of headers and request data. Then there's similar for session data, and particularly useful, a log of database queries and the timing involved, so you can home in on which database queries are costing you a lot. The concrete log and environment information. This is a free add-on and the source is also available on GitHub if you'd like to help add to it. I can see this becoming a favourite in many developers' toolkits. Also from Macro is Box Connector. This is a connector to integrate the Box cloud storage service with the Concrete file system. You need a Box account to use this, and once configured, if we take a look screenshot, you can open the file chooser and see an extra menu item for Box where you can search for files and select a file and then import it into the file manager. You need to be in the file chooser dialog to use this. My understanding is that once the core provides the external file source interface in the actual file manager, then Box Connector will be available directly in the file manager as well as the current file chooser integration. The marketplace price for Macro Box Connector is $50. That's all from me, so now I hand you over to Noor for the second half of the news.
Thank you, John, and hello everybody. So first I'll start with the RM Freshdesk chat widget by user Richmade. It allows you, like the name says, to add a Freshdesk chat widget to your website, which is especially interesting for hardcore client service and client support, because Freshdesk comes with a lot of nice options like ticketing and automation and different agents and things like this. So it's a pretty good tool. You will need an API key. If you don't have one, you'll still be able to see the default chat widget, which is good. This package is available for Concrete CMS 9 only, and it's free. Our second package is RM Autocomplete, also by user Richmade. It's an interesting tool. You add it to your page, and it does two things. It allows you to do a quick keyword search on a list of values you set yourself, keywords and links to go to when click on those keywords. And if nothing is found in your custom list of keywords, then it can fall back on the normal Concrete search engine. So that will allow you to offer some custom search results plus the normal website search that offered by Concrete. So it's a pretty interesting tool. It's also version 9 only, and it's $15 in the marketplace. Third package is Conditional Redirect by user John the Fish. This will add an attribute to your pages that will allow you to redirect the user based on many different possible criterias. So you will be able to redirect based on time of the day, IP address, so where they live, any number of custom possibilities that you can add. And it will also allow you to specify whether you want to always show the same page to the user once they were redirected. So for instance, say you decide to redirect them based on an attribute value on the user profile, and the attribute takes them to page B instead of A. So after that, every time they visit the website, they will see page B and not A. This can be very useful if you want to try any kind of A/B testing, for instance. As usual, John has a lot of documentation and examples on its website. For instance, here, the page redirects me according to my time of day, which is pretty useful. So this package is for Concrete 8 and above. It's Concrete 9 ready, and it's $25 in the marketplace. And last, a package that is not in the marketplace, but we believe it was important enough to discuss it now. It's by Hissy. And he created a plugin available on GitHub that allows you to convert old automated jobs that are now legacy and deprecated into tasks, which are the new way to run jobs in Concrete 9. On the GitHub page, you will be able to download it and find also an explanation on how to convert your queuable jobs into new tasks, thanks to this package. That's going to be very useful. And most importantly, it's going to be very useful to understand how tasks work, because that's not so simple. Okay, that's it for me today. So thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye.
Awesome.
There we go. Thank you so much, guys. Oh, where am I? Oh, there we go. Great job. Cool stuff in there. Nice to see some of those kind of hefty developer tools emerging.
Yeah, seriously.
That's pretty nice stuff. And we should link to that GitHub project on that other. We have like a page underneath extensions. It's like not in the marketplace, but still interesting. So make sure to capture that there. Okay, we're gonna go into show and tell. We got two things to talk about today. We've got some. Let's see if I can share my screen here. Case studies that we have been building. Jess has been putting together. See if I can get this up right. There we go. You may notice our blog on the .com site has gotten quite a bit more active over the past few months under Jess's curation. And one of the things that she's been doing is going through and finding great looking websites of different genres and putting them together in little collections. So this is higher ed sites. And yeah, there's a whole range. Some of these we host, some of these are new to me. But no shortage of, there's part of Dartmouth, or Dartmouth Institute, excuse me, Michigan State.
This is serious.
Yeah, it just goes on and on and on. St. John's, I know this one. We've shown this site off before. But, yeah, if you are courting a client and they say, yeah, that's great, but, you know, do you have any examples of concrete for our particular industry? I know we always kind of feel like, well, look, it's a website, we can make it great, but there are quite a few of these best of posts that are happening here. Right, here's a health related one, and sometimes this just gives you enough that last little push to say, okay, I'm going to be in good company here. So
nice work.
Yeah, good job. Thank you, Jess. All right, the next thing I want to show is your video, Andy.
Yes.
Let's see if I can figure out how to do that without the weird lag we had when I failed last time here. If I share it
Will
via
YouTube
Chrome
cooperate?
tab, yeah. I think I got it. Shared audio. Here we go. Let's going to be good.
Hi, everybody. I wanted to show you something we've been working on for the next version of Concrete that we're pretty excited about. These are production modes and the new site health check report. In the next version of Concrete, when you install Concrete, it actually goes into a mode that we're calling development. You can see that right here. Development mode is for sites that are being worked on in a local development environment. This lets us do things like set the cache to off, turn the overrides cache off, do things that will make it much easier to work on a Concrete site right out of the gate. This isn't ideal for all types of sites. This is really just for sites that you are actively working on in a local development environment. So for this reason, you can of course change this to something else. For content stages, these are sites that are publicly accessible on the internet, probably behind a VPN or in some other kind of protected location. We recommend setting them up as staging sites. Staging options include the ability to add a bar at the bottom of your site that will help your editors know that if they're working on this particular site, they're not actually working on the live site. This can be helpful because it might look exactly like the live site. So having that little bar at the bottom can be super helpful. Here's what the atomic theme looks like with the staging bar enabled. Then also, if you go to the welcome screen, you'll see that your site is in staging mode. You'll get another notice about why you might want to use that or not. The most important option, of course, is production. Setting something to production doesn't actually do anything. It just tells this installation that it is meant to be viewed publicly in a public environment. But you can see when we actually set the site to production, we get a notice. That's because production sites, we need to treat them a little bit differently than development or staging sites. We need to make sure that you're adhering to the best practices. There's a lot of ways to configure your site to give you more information while you're developing it, which is great. But if you leave those settings on in production, you might inadvertently leak information to people that you don't want to have it. So what we have introduced alongside these production modes is the site health check report, and you can see that here. Before I choose whether to skip the tests or run the tests, I'm going to show you the health section. So let's just cancel out of this. If I go into welcome, you can see I've got this new copy here. I also have this new desktop block for latest site health results. I have not run any reports yet. There's also this new site health section that you can access from up here or from over here. If I click on this, you can see that my site's currently in staging mode. And again, you get another notice as to what that means. And you get 3 reports here. These reports use the new Concrete task system. So they are extensible. You can add to them over time. We'll have developer documentation for how to add to these yourselves. You can do a lot of pretty exciting stuff with these in the task system that I'll talk about in a little bit. But let's just go over the 3 that we're shipping with in the next version of Concrete. We've got the check page cache settings and check site production status and find custom JavaScript. This last one is great for some of the more highly secured sites that we run. This will go through your site and find all instances of JavaScript that have been added using content blocks, custom attributes, and some other locations. It's really, really helpful for auditing a site and keeping it clean, especially when there are multiple editors. The check page cache settings determine whether your site is optimally configured to be fast and stable using cache settings in the best possible way. Finally, the check site production status report scans your site to determine whether it is configured to work well in a production environment. This is the report you should run for sites that are in production to make sure that you haven't missed a setting, that they're configured to be fast, they're configured to be secure. You could run that here. You could also run it when you change production here. This is what you will run if you click this button right here. So let's run it. So now you see, while it's running this, I've got this yellow alert up here. That's because we have changed the site to production, but we have not run a test yet. Now the test is completed, and we failed our production status test, which is why this is red. And let's see what happened here. So here, if I click through, you can see the results of my test. If I click back, there's also this new site health section in the reports section of the dashboard. That's what we're seeing here. The check site production status has failed. And so we can, let's check our findings here. The first big one is debug error output is set to detail. If you know what that means, you know you do not want this showing in production. It shows lots and lots of information about your sites to anyone who happens to stumble upon errors. So very useful for local development, very bad for production. File override records are not cached. All of these findings will link over to where you can change the things. So super useful there. Another example of a test is the check page cache settings here. Let's run this one. So again, this doesn't impact whether this red banner happens. That banner only hooks into the check site production status. You can see this one's looking a little bit better. My result score is a 70. That's because file override records are cached, block output caching is enabled, but full page caching is disabled. So that's not great. Let's turn that on. And then let's do one more thing that's kind of interesting. Let's go to the documents page and go to caching and do not cache this page. If we rerun this report, we get a thumbs up. And that's because file overrides records are cached. Everything is cached, and that's great. Furthermore, this info finding is useful to us. Part of this report, it will enumerate all the places where specific page level caching differs from the overall caching in your site. So very useful for finding places where your editors may have done something well-intentioned but potentially disastrous. Finally, let's go through this Find Custom JavaScript report. If I click this, it's going to run a report and check all of my pages, users, files, express objects for the custom JavaScripts that it can find. And so you can see we found a lot of custom JavaScript throughout our site. We can click through to view more information, but I can also, right from here, view the content. I can also export the results as CSV. I can do that to all of them. It includes the message, the URL, where to go, and the actual content. And this information can even be emailed when configuring a task. So you can run this task either from the task section of the dashboard or from the console and specify an email to email the results as CSV every time it runs. So, you know, if you're a compliance officer, you can schedule this to run every 3 months and just email you, and you'll get an up-to-date report on any of these reports, which should hopefully make some people's lives much easier. So I hope this has proven useful. This is a feature we're pretty excited about coming in the next version of Concrete. As always, there's heated discussions about this and other features in GitHub, so feel free to come in, find the issue that this is attached to, and let us know what you think about it. As well, we're talking about this in the forums, the Concrete CMS forums, so feel free to get in touch with us there. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it. That's pretty cool. Let's see, you're still muted, Andy. I don't think I...
There we go.
All right. Very cool. Yeah, that it's amazing to me. Like, this started as, I believe, as like an idle comment in a ISMC meeting of like, we should have a page in the dashboard that just has like all the security related settings duplicated. And like, I think our approach to look, the core CMS should do stuff that everybody needs in a consistent way, and it should do it in an extendable way so other people can add to it over time. And that way we don't end up with an ecosystem of competing tools that break one another and you know, it takes you a week and a half to set up a Concrete site because you have to install 20 different modules. Instead, you've got a core CMS that does the job right. That philosophy drives you to what has become like a pretty robust framework for like running tests and sharing info. It's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely yeah, you're not wrong about that. Like, you know, this has been in GitHub for a while. People wanting something like this, and then we earlier this year, we got renewed interest internally because we kind of had discussions about how much something like this would help our own internal operations, help save us time, debugging issues and figuring out running these JavaScript reports that we need to run for clients and other, and we also have this site checklist, which we've already published before. And it's just, this is all, it's criminal that we don't automate more of the stuff that we have. I mean, it makes sense. We've got smart people and they know how to ensure that things are well configured, but so much of this stuff could be put into an automated checklist. It's funny that it hasn't been done before now. But yeah, that's what this aims to solve. And we've already got some internal feedback about how we can add to this to make it even more useful. And there is the pull request has been merged for the next major version of Concrete, but that's not coming out for a couple of months. So we're still actively in the development process, updating this and making it more useful. So yeah, as definitely get in touch, and we want the feedback.
Absolutely. Very cool. Let's see. I think we're reaching the end, and we're into the Q&A. If you have a question now, it would be a great time to ask it, and we'll try to quickly address it. Can someone shoot me the link for the API proposal that we've got out there, Andy? And I'll throw that up, because this next question touches on that.
I have so many tabs.
Let's see. Evivox? Let me go with one of those. Evivox says, are there any plans to provide a REST API for express data objects like a headless CMS would provide? Yes.
Buddy, there are plans.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So this, I have do you want me to, let me, what's the best way to get this link? Yeah, all right, I'll do that. Yeah. We have so many.
Tweet me, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, this I sent you the GitHub API proposal, and this is just a package. Just to reiterate stuff we've already said, this is a package meant to be installed on a non-public site. It has certain security best practices disabled just temporarily in order to make it much easier to work with this type of data without having to continuously re-authenticate. In a production environment, you would want that. So, before this gets merged into core, we'll be re-enabling that stuff. But so just kick the tires on this. Don't put it on your live site. But yes, this is a concrete package that, when installed, will give you a full-featured REST API for all the most important surfaces of Concrete, like pages and files and users, blocks and page versions. And among those things, it will create a REST API for your Express objects, including the ability to update them, read them, add them, and delete them. And it even will treat those objects like first-class Concrete objects. So if you have an object like students and teachers, if you install this API, you'll see you have new scopes for students and teachers, and the actual endpoints don't reference Express at all. They just reference students and teachers. And I think it's a really good way to work with your Express objects as though they were just sort of generic Concrete objects without even having to know that you used Express to create them. So definitely give that a go, and you can expect to see this coming more or less as described in this API in 9.2.0.
For some weird reason, the URL that you have sent me wants me to log in, and with the combination of dual factor, that is not going to happen, but I found it somewhere else. Let's see.
Oh, maybe that's an old one. I moved it over to Concrete. My bad. Made that private, and then this is the public one. That makes more sense.
There we go. If I put this in here, will it update in the stream? Maybe? Yes. I think so. So this is what you're looking for.
That's what you're looking for.
Lots of information, the demonstration video, answers to your questions, forum thread to chat about it. Please do play with it, because as I mentioned earlier in the video, we are expecting to use this for parts of the community site itself, and actively looking to migrate from, hey, this is a proposal to this is the feature set. So more eyes on it now, the better. Okie dokie, guys and gals. Unless there is something else. What's this private chat do? Yes. All right. That's what I know. This has been September 2022. We will be back in a month. It's a full and exciting fall, so let's try to get a lot of stuff done here and end the year on a uplifting and full note here with Concrete. So I'm excited for fall.
Sweet.
Thank you, everybody. See you in a month.
See ya.